In this video, we'll be looking at how to manage anti-aliasing in a text inside Affinity. So before starting, first of all, if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, please hit the subscribe button for more tips and tricks related to Affinity. And now, before starting with anti-aliasing controls in the anti-aliasing settings inside of Affinity, first of all, let's understand what anti-aliasing really is. So to understand anti-aliasing, first of all, I'll select the zoom tool and we can use the shortcut key of Z to select the zoom tool. And after selecting the zoom tool, now let's zoom in our individual text character. So I'll simply click and drag to zoom in at the end or top right part or portion of the S character. And I'll simply click and drag like so. And now you can see that the edges of our character S has been much more smoothed out with transparent or semi-transparent edges. So sometimes you might bump into a situation when the edges of the character of your text are very harsh. So we can manage or fix that kind of problem through anti-aliasing. So in order to fix that, first of all, I'll select the move tool right here. And after selecting move tool, I'll simply select on our anti-alias text layer in our layer panel and then navigate up to the cog icon or the blend options icon in Affinity. And after selecting the cog or blend options icon, now you can see that we have a blend options box here. So inside of the blend option box, we have different kind of settings. And for now in this video, we'll only be looking at anti-aliasing settings. So basically we have three options in order to control the anti-aliasing of our text character inside Affinity. So the first is obviously the anti-aliasing property right here. The other is blend gamma, and the third one is coverage map, which gives us more control over adjusting the anti-aliasing inside of our text or character in Affinity. So first of all, let's start with different options that is available for the anti-aliasing property right here. So I'll click on this option and you can see that our first option is inherit. So what inherit basically does is it will simply inherit the anti-aliasing properties or features from its parent layer. So for example, let's say the layer anti-alias that you can see in our layers panel on the right, if this layer is inside of some other layer, which is the parent layer, then when we select the option of inherit in that case, it will simply fetch the anti-aliasing settings in its parent layer. And the next option we have is force on. So force on simply applies the anti-aliasing to individual character inside of that layer. So right now it is applying the anti-aliasing properties inside of this text of S, as you can see here, which makes the edges of this character semi-transparent in order to fix the issue of anti-aliasing. So the final option we have for this anti-aliasing property is force off. So now you have to notice here that when selecting force off, the edges of the S character has been more jaggedy. So this is the problem that most of the designers face and not know what to do in order to fix this. So in order to fix this, we can switch to any other options such as force on, inherit, and so on. However, whenever graphic designers need to create different design projects that involves pixel arts or any other addition of pixel related designs, then in those scenarios, we can simply select force off in order to view each pixels clearly. However, in our case, I'll simply select to the option of inherit for now, and now you can see that Affinity has automatically calculated the pixels in our edges and defined the average value and adjusted the border or the edges line through that adjusted average value. So the next option we have is blend gamma. So the blend gamma option basically provides us additional controls in order to adjust the smoothness of the edges of our character. So for example, right now you can see that it is by default 1.45 value. So let's see by decreasing as well as increasing the value of blend gamma. So if I select this particular slider and then drag it all the way to the left, you can see that nothing has changed much. However, if I simply click and drag the slider all the way to the right, now again, there's a subtle change, but let us zoom in further in order to view the changes. So in order to zoom in, I simply zoom in much more inside by using the trackpad. And now let's play with the blend gamma slider by simply clicking and dragging the slider all the way to the left. Now you can see that the semi-transparent white edges are now covering much more boundary outside. And if I click and drag the slider all the way to the right, now you can see that the semi-transparent white border are closing or moving inside of our text. So we can control this value, blend gamma value, to add more flexibility or control the borderline of the anti-aliasing of our text. So for now, I'll simply set the value to 1.45 because normally in the value of 1.45, it will be an average for the anti-aliasing edge in the border of our text. So our next option is coverage map, and comparatively to our previous option of blend gamma and anti-aliasing, coverage map provides us much more control in terms of fixing the anti-aliasing of the individual text characters or any graphic elements inside Affinity. And to control the coverage map option, we can click here, and now you can see that we have a line similar to our curves adjustment layer, and we can simply click on this point, and if I drag it all the way to the top, now you can see that it has added or it has forced off our anti-aliasing property at the edges of this text. And if I simply click and drag our point all the way down, now you can see that it has fixed the edges of our character by making the edges much more smoother. Similarly, we can control it further by adding more nodes or points and then simply adjusting like so. By adding much more nodes, as you can see here, we can even control this anti-aliasing or the pixel in the edge option further. So if we zoom out, now you can see that the edges of the S are looking much more jaggedy or weirder. So in order to bring the settings back, we can simply click on the reset button, and now you can see that our edges of the S character text has now become much more smoother. So these are the three key essential properties that you can play around in the blend options panel in order to fix or adjust your anti-aliasing inside of your text or any design element. So I'll simply click on the cross in order to close the blend option box, and after closing the blend option box, I simply hold down the command key and press the 0 key to fit our canvas to the window or on the screen. So this is the basic settings of fixing anti-aliasing inside of Affinity. So you can play around and tweak around the different settings for anti-aliasing in the blend option panel. So if you find this video helpful, please click on the like button, and for more tips and tricks related to Affinity, hit the subscribe button. Thank you for watching this video, and see you on the next video.